Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
All right, we are live. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Pre-PT Inspires series. This one is going to be featuring a good friend of mine, Bruce, and his kids, and you know, life in general. This is what makes these live streams cool, man, because this is real life. But for those of y'all that have not followed Pre-PT Grind for a long time, or this is the first time you are joining us for one of these episodes, this is episode 35 of my favorite series. Like literally, out of all the content that we do for pre-PTs, because that's our job, is to get you onto PT school. This one is my favorite, and it's because it's featuring students that have been part of our coaching program, the Accepted System, but it's having them talk about their real journey to getting into PT school. Like they've already been accepted, and they're just like, yo, listen, this was what really happened. It's very easy to get into PT school and be like, hey guys, I got in, you can do it too. I mean, it sounds nice, but I like for this one, I like for us to kind of get deep into what the real struggles were. And tonight is going to be especially important for those of y'all that are non-traditional students. So if you're a non-traditional student or you know another non-traditional student, have them come back to this video right here, because it's going to give you belief. It's going to give you some real direction. You're going to get the push you need, but you're also going to be inspired. So Bruce, how you feeling, man? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
Man, all right, perfect. And we are streaming live on Facebook, so we are good to go. All right, Bruce. So as we get started tonight, man, before we get to the heart of your story, tell me a little bit about why you chose, like why was physical therapy your path to begin with? When did you choose physical therapy? Because I know for you, it's a little different. You had a little bit more time in between your choice and, you know, actually actively pursuing it. So tell us about that, man. Like, why PT? What drew you to this profession in the first place? We want to know why you fought so hard to get to where you are today. Talk to us.
All right. Well, again, thanks for having me. The reason I got into it, just like most people, I got into it because I got hurt. But how I got hurt is what makes everything different. Coming out of high school, I went to college. I didn't do any work really that first semester. I got straight F's. So I just worked. A lot. And then once I had a friend whose father and brother were trash man, and they said, hey, it's good pay. You join. So I went out there and I was a trash man for about 5 months until I got hurt. It was a January. It was unseasonably cold in Jacksonville. I mean, it's the winter, but it was in the 20s that night. And I picked up thousands of trash cans, but this time in particular, this one slipped, bent my wrist back real bad. I was on the shelf for a few months and I went to physical therapy. And at that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I'm just on the back of a trash on the truck, just throwing trash, making good money, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. But once I went to physical therapy, you know, I did my session, but I stayed and I just watched them work. And I told my friend, I'm like, yo, this is what I want to do. This is home right here. This is the first time I ever felt like this is for me.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And, you know, we're all pulled into PT for different reasons. Like, for those of y'all that are watching live, maybe y'all had an accident like a lot of people. Maybe it was just walking into a clinic by accident and being like, yo, like, I could see myself doing this. But whatever it is, like, I always highlight that because that's kind of what you have to pull from, right? Like, when things get tough, you kind of go back to that moment where it was just pure, where you were like, yo, I can definitely see myself doing this. And for you, you know, obviously you were a trash man prior to finding out that physical therapy was what you wanted to do, man. But let's transition a little bit. Let's go to the part that I enjoyed the most, which is when we talk about what the challenges were. So for you, you figured out, hey, I want to be a physical therapist. What were your biggest obstacles from that moment where you had your injury, you got seen by a physical therapist, and then you stayed a little longer, right? Like, from that moment to now, because now obviously you're accepted into PT school, what were your big hurdles? What were the things that maybe led you to doubt yourself or, you know, potentially hold yourself back? Because that's where a lot of students that are listening to this right now, that's where they are. that's why I want us to kind of like dive into that, so that students that feel like they're the only ones experiencing some of those things can hear it and be like, whoa, like Bruce went through that as well. Like, I'm not the only one that experiences these things. So what were they for you?
Well, it's first thing was, okay, I need money. How am I going to get money to pay for school? So I just decided to join the military. I joined the Air Force in April 2007, and I was a paralegal. And I was kind of getting off course because I was very good as a paralegal. And I was thinking, maybe I can do this attorney thing. But I had an attorney in the office who went to Baylor, who's the one who actually told me about the Baylor program. And he was like, yo, stay focused on this. I mean, this law stuff is cool, but this is what you want to do. So, that, and then once I moved up in rank, I didn't have time to really go to school like I thought I would. So now I'm getting older, because I joined when I was 23. Now I'm getting older. And I'm like, okay, will I have time to do this? And got married, got out the military, they medically retired me. And I'm like, okay, can I do this now? Because now I'm like, at this point, I just turned 30. I just turned 33. I think I just turned 33 years old. And I'm like, I don't think I can do this, but I'm just gonna go to school and see what happens. And, as time went on, finishing classes, I felt like, okay, I think I can do this. But I started to doubt myself again, because I have a family. All these schools that I really wanted to go to weren't in Mississippi at that time. So I had, I just really, so many different obstacles just started jumping in my way. And eventually, I found the right school for me.
Man, this is actually why. So for those of y'all that are watching this live, what's up, John? How you doing? I see you're live. For those of y'all that are watching this live, for those of y'all watching this on replay, for those of y'all listening to this as a podcast episode, because this will be a podcast episode after we finish this. For those of y'all that are non-traditional, I wanted y'all to hear that. Like, you were 33, right? When you kind of like hopped back into, being a pre-PT. Right now you're 37, correct?
Yeah, just turned 37. Right?
Okay, so there are, man, like you and I have already talked about this, but I've spoken to quite a few non-traditional students recently who have been asking the question, like, is it too late? I've seen students that are 24. Like, if a 24-year-old came to you and said, hey, man, is it too late? You'd probably be like, come on now. Like, if a 28-year-old came up to you and said, is it too late? You'd be like, bruh. Like, so the first thing I want you guys to hear is that it's not too late. Regardless of what pulled y'all to physical therapy, like, that's the first thing I want you guys to realize. If this is your calling, like for Bruce, it had been a calling, but he did a few other things, military, obviously had a family and just time from the time you were in your early 20s, 23, right? Is when
23.
So from 23 to the early 30s, you really had a decade there of time that you were just like military, and that was it, right? And so now switching back to this, you were like, yo, there's those doubts that start to build up. Like, can I do this? Like, did I wait too long? Are these youngins coming straight out of college, or do they have more of an advantage? I have a family. I can't just up and move to any random place, right? I got to figure out, like, how do I stay locally? How can I take care of my family and also pursue this dream of becoming a physical therapist? And for those of y'all that are in the exact same position, come back to this live stream for belief that it's possible. And we'll tell you a little bit later, about how you can get started and how you can get some clarity and how you can get, jump started on the path that Bruce was on. But that's what this live stream is about, is getting y'all to be like, yo, like, that's, man, like, if you think that it's too late, it's not. There are students that are in their late 30s starting the pre-PT journey. There are students I know that are in their mid 40s starting their pre-PT journey. The point is that you're going towards what y'all want. So if physical therapy is it, well, now we just have to figure out, okay, like all these other things, like how do we handle those? Like, that's something that we can help y'all with. But if it's a belief issue, man, let this be your proof. Let this be your proof that y'all can do it. So for you though, now that you're on that path, now you're like, okay, I'm starting to kind of feel like I can do this, right? Because you're taking classes again. You're basically locking yourself back in. What led you to look for non-traditional guidance? You came to us. You joined our accepted system coaching program. What led you to be like, yo, I need to find some help from somebody and what drew you to us. Tell us a little bit about that.
COVID happened. What happened, my plan was to get my hours this past summer, get a job as an aide or just volunteer to try to get some hours. But COVID happened. On top of COVID happening, I'm taking physics 2, I'm taking chem 2. Down in Mississippi at that time, I don't know how they're doing it now. They really weren't taking COVID serious. So we pulled our daughter out of daycare. So I have a fresh 2-year-old at the house. I'm taking these classes and I'm just like, I just Googled how to get some observation hours, like see who had some telehealth hours. And I was on YouTube and y'all guys came up and I was like, let me look at this. And I just started seeing so many different things. Baylor was on my list at schools at the time. And y'all talked to someone who's on admin there, talked to someone who went to South who was also on my list. And I was like, okay, I like this. And I went to the website, started looking at different services you offered. I'm like, okay, I can write, but can I write for these schools to really like me and accept me? So just all these different things that I was looking at, that's what made me join. Just COVID happened. And for me, I mean, COVID's horrible, but as far as my PC journey, it led me to finding the right people in my corner to keep this going.
Man, listen, COVID was, it was terrible, right? But it did lead to some cool things, right? Some cool meetups like this, man. And so I'm glad that you found us. How specifically did the coaching program help you navigate through the last stretch of your application process to really helping you get into PT school?
I mean, I started talking to you and Casey, my coach, Robin, she was on me, but not bad, but she was just on me because she just had so much faith in me. Just going over my essays over and over, and just the mock interviews and just all of that, just all that coaching, all the people just like in my corner telling me and it's not just people just motivate me, because I have family that motivates me, I have friends that motivate me, but people who are in the same boat. I didn't know many physical therapists at all, outside of a couple that I've seen and a couple on base, but I didn't have anybody who went through similar journey as me. So it was good to be under the right direction.
Man, I love that. Y'all, you have to be okay with finding the right people, guys. Especially as we go into the new year. I mean, COVID's still there. I mean, we all know that. But I think one thing that we've learned this year is the need to just like we can find people online. It doesn't just have to be in person. Like COVID forced us online. It forced us to be like, yo, I gotta look, on YouTube. I gotta find, social media platforms, and the help is there. The help is there. You just have to be willing to find the right people. It might be us, it might be somebody else, but you don't have to do it alone. And that's one thing that I'm glad that you touched on. And for those of y'all that feel stuck and you're like, yo, like, how do I even start? One of the best places to start is a free resource that Casey and I created called the Acceptance Navigator. And you can find it at acceptancenavigator.com. So acceptancenavigator.com. For those, wherever you're seeing this video, it should be somewhere. Go there right now, watch those 4 videos, take some notes and ask yourself, okay, how does this apply to me specifically? Like how can I use this, what Casey and Joseph are opening up, to figure out where my weak points are, to figure out why I'm so anxious about the application process, to figure out why I feel stuck or lost or confused, because you should feel like you're in the driver's seat as an applicant, right? But most of us don't feel that way. So if you want a great place to start, that is where I would recommend starting. It's actually the same path that Bruce was on and all the other students that have been in the Accepted System coaching program, but you get to start with that 4 videos. So I would say go watch that tonight or tomorrow, mark some time away, take some notes, but I think that's really going to give you some clarity and the push in the right direction that you need. But for you, Bruce, now you do all the work. Now you find the right people and you're like, all right, cool, we good. Now you're like, okay, like I finally get my first acceptance letter. Tell me, man, after that journey, after going from, being in your 20s, like your early 20s, figuring out that physical therapy was what you wanted, right? to being in the military for a decade, to coming back and being a pre-PT, to now being 37 and getting your first acceptance letter. What was that moment like for you? And how did it happen? Like, how'd you find out? Tell us a little bit about that, man. Like who'd you tell first? Did you cry? Did you run around? Like, talk to us about that day, mainly because I want the students listening right now to dream a little bit. Yeah. I want them to be like, yo, like one day that's going to be me. But for you, man, let us celebrate with you. How was that for you? What went down?
All right. Well, I'm going to add a little context to it because my wife, she's still in the military. So I couldn't just apply to any school. I had it down to 4 schools. But then I started thinking, I can't, I love the hybrid schools, but I can't just leave my family for 2-3 weeks at a time. And also we're trying to have another baby. So I don't want to leave my wife with a 3-year-old and a newborn. Just, I as a man, I know everyone's different. I just can't do it. So now it dropped to just 2 schools. It dropped to 2 schools. And then my GRE, I was worried about my GRE because I took it at home and my daughter had Disney playing in the background. So I'm just like going crazy. And I was right under my other school's threshold. So I made the decision, hey, I'm gonna go all in and apply to just 1 school and see what happens. And I got the acceptance on December 1st. I never forget it. Also, my first stepmom died on December 1st back in 96. So I was already like, ugh, from that day. But when I got that acceptance letter, I was just like, oh my God. And I just started crying. I'm like, yo, we did it. Called my wife, called my mom, called my dad. I just called everybody that that real close circle just to let them know, because I wouldn't be here if not for y'all. You know what I'm saying? My wife is my superhero. You know what I'm saying? She's still working. She still got this kid. She's allowing me to pursue my dreams. And I started thinking about all that, and I'm like, yo, I can't wait to pay her back. Like, I went straight from, man, I can't wait to pay her back, because I want to retire her. I want her out the military so she can go to school, because she hasn't decided if she wants to still be a physical therapist or RN. Like, she's so smart and she can do so many things. I'm like, yo, whatever you want to do, you want to do. But my goal is to make sure you're done. So that's what all went in my mind when I got that acceptance letter. And I just knew that was going to be the only one I was going to get. Yeah. Like, so I was real nervous and scared.
Man, listen, not only am I happy for you, not only am I proud of you, man, not only am I inspired by you, but you doing it for her, you doing it for your kids soon, and just like putting it all in there, man. It's everything. But it speaks to, how beautiful your community is, like with your family, with your wife, with the people that you have in your circle, man. But I'm so freaking proud of you, man. And congrats to you for not giving up. Congrats to you for staying true to this, and not just you, but your wife and your like that was all together. Like, you not giving up, it was really all the people in your circle, and for you being wise enough to keep the right people right. You kept it tight. You were like, all right, the people that are going to be my support system, my wife being number 1, and all these other people, man, that's who I'm going to keep around me so that I can keep pushing long enough to get myself, into a physical therapy program, man. And now, I mean, in a few years, you're a physical therapist. It's done. Now you just have to survive PT school. But outside of that, man, I'm so freaking happy for you. And for those of y'all watching live, heart it up for my man, comment it up, show him some love. Let's celebrate Bruce the way we want to be celebrated when we all get accepted into PT school. But man, I'm so happy for you. Let's wrap it up with this. Like, what would be, after everything you've experienced, after everything you've gone through over the last 10 plus years, after moments of doubt, moments where you felt like, yo, like this might not work out. This might not go, how I would have wanted it to go. What would you say to the younger version of you, man? Like, what would you say to yourself a year ago or 2 years ago, that moment where you felt like really low, or maybe just kind of defeated, or like it was borderline impossible, what would you say to that version of yourself? Mainly because that guy, that old Bruce, like he's listening right now. He or she is listening right now because somebody listening to this is experiencing what you were going through at that time. And then they're waiting to hear what you would say if you were able to have that conversation with yourself. What would you say, man?
I'll say, you got nothing to worry about. You already claimed it, so it's gonna happen.
Woo.
It's already gonna happen. So, you know, just keep going. Physics is gonna suck.
Of course.
A&P is gonna be all right. Chemistry is really gonna suck.
Yep.
Just keep going. You know, I mean, you've gotten this far. What's the point of stopping? Yeah. You've already been in a situation where you made good money, but like the job almost killed you. Like go somewhere where you want to be happy and just go from there.
That's it. That's it. For those of y'all listening, man, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I hope this inspired you in some way, shape, or form. And as a student, you belief is it. You know, what you just right now, Bruce, is belief. You're just like claiming it is just belief, right? Because belief is what precedes what you do next, right? The reason why most of us, the ones that don't get into PT school, ultimately it's because they quit, right? That's the only way you don't get accepted into a physical therapy program is if you quit, right? And the way you quit is when you give up on yourself, when you basically give up on solutions and assume that maybe your GPA or how long you've been out of school or all these other things that we feel are the end of the line for us. We look at those and feel like, oh, like my shot is done. Maybe I should pick something else. But if this is your dream, it starts with belief. Believe that you deserve it. Believe that you deserve to serve the people that you have been called to serve through physical therapy. Like they deserve your help. They deserve your love. They deserve the energy that you have to give. They deserve the passion that you have to serve them in this particular way. And then from there, let's take the first step. Whatever that first step is for you guys, if it's clarity, let's take that step. If it's just push, you just need people to be like, yo, do the work. Okay, cool. That's the first step. And if, like I said before, if you're looking for something that could help you jumpstart that, go to acceptancenavigator.com. We make it clear. We make it straightforward. But for you, as we go into the new year, y'all take that first step, own it, own your experience, own your past, but also believe in yourself, claim that and walk in it. And if you do that, man, beautiful things will happen. And just like Bruce, we look forward to welcoming you into the profession of physical therapy. So Bruce, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening. Thank you for inspiring the people. Thank you for being a testament to what hard work looks like, what having the right people in your corner looks like, what believing in yourself looks like. And for you, man, you just carry that into PT school and shoot. I'd love to do a video with you when you graduate from physical therapy school, man, just to celebrate it. But
for sure.
And this has been an honor for me. So appreciate you. For those of y'all that are watching us live, we will see you guys in a few days. We will have another of these live trainings. We have many of these coming. This is just episode 35 of many other students who have also been accepted into PT school, but have been through different struggles similar to what you might be experiencing right now, y'all. And we just want to do this to inspire you, but to get you to take some massive action. That's how we get you closer to PT school, not just sitting down and waiting for things to just happen. Nah, it's action. Do the work. Let's get it. Let's put the right people around you. Much love. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.